Hey Cougar Scholars, I'm here at the Forge in the shop, and it's one of my beloved spaces. I really enjoy heating up metal and using a hammer to move that metal using direct application of force. So let's turn on the Forge and we'll talk about some of the tools in here. All right, so we've got a start button. That'll start the blower blowing, and then in about 10 to 15 seconds we'll hear a buzz. That buzz is a spark plug or a glow plug that will get bright red, and at that point the gas will come through and we'll see the Forge start up. I'm going to have to open the air control, and I'm going to have to open the gas control. This red box in the corner is called a fire eye, and it has a sensor that's here at the back of the Forge. If the fire goes out and the fire eye doesn't sense the UV ray of a fire, it will shut off the gas main. So we got a really safe tool here. Even though we're just pulling natural gas right off the gas line, it's coming through this manifold and it's mixing with oxygen from the blower. We're going to heat this, we'll be heating up our steel to about maybe 2,700 degrees. Okay, start. We're going to listen for the buzzing of the igniter. Halfway there. Okay, it blew out. We saw it start up lighting, and then because maybe it had a little too much oxygen, the oxygen blew out the flame, and then the fire eye detected it, shut off the gas. So let's give it another try. Wait for the buzz. Oxygen. All right, I think we got it. We're going to give it a few minutes to heat up. Okay, let's take a look at the anvil. We got our anvil here. This is a handmade tool. It's kind of incredible. It was forge welded together out of 4 different parts. You can feel right here there's a spot where a gigantic pair of tongs came and held these parts together, and then people using hammers, sledgehammers, hammered the 2 parts together down here and hammered this, what we call the face of the anvil, onto the top. We got the face of the anvil. This is called the shoulder. We have the horn or the beck, and 2 holes at the back. Pritchell's hole is the small round hole, and the Hardy hole is the square hole. So we're going to use all the different parts of this anvil. We'll make curves on the horn. We'll make 90-degree edges off the edge of the face. We'll use the Pritchell hole to bend and break pieces. And the Hardy hole holds a whole number of different types of tools. A cut-off tool like this, a furring tool like this, to give us different shapes. Let's talk about a few more tools. We got our tongs, which has the jaws up here, and the part that you hold are called the reins. You want to make sure that the tongs you're using are appropriate for the size of metal you're using. You got to remember, we're going to be using direct force, so if you don't have a good hold of your metal, it's going to go flying. I've got 2 forge hammers here. These are both, these are called peen hammers. This is a ball peen hammer, and this is a cross peen hammer. A ball peen hammer, when you're using the round side, is going to push material in all directions at the same time. And a cross peen is going to push the material just 2 different directions. I would suggest finding a hammer that is the biggest hammer that you can comfortably throw 100 times in a row, right? There's a lot of hammers over there that are just too big for me. It's important to think about accuracy and aim rather than brute force, okay? When I choke up often on the hammer, I get very close to my material. I stand over the top of the anvil, and when I'm throwing the hammer, it's not so much arm, it's more like shoulder. I'm going to be using a lot, I'm going to kind of use my whole body. All right, I'm going to start where you have this 1/4-inch rod. I'm going to start with a procedure called drawing out. I'm going to hammer a sharp point at the tip, and then I'll come about 2 or 3 inches back and hammer that. So I'm going to make this piece skinnier, and I'm going to make it longer. So the forge is heating up. It's going to take a few more minutes. I'm going to get my face shield ready to go, get some tools arranged, and I'm looking forward to swinging a hammer with you guys. All right, folks, so my metal's getting hot in there. I've got a face shield with a UV protected plate. I'm going to put it on when I'm looking in the forge. I got my glasses on. You definitely want safety glasses over here as we're hammering on hot metal. The top molecular levels of the steel get burned off. It's called mill scale. So that comes popping off. It's of course pretty hot, so we want to protect ourselves. I've got Kevlar gloves. These are for handling hot materials. Far superior in insulation to the leather gloves. And they also, when the leather gloves get hot, it kind of cooks the metal and it gets really stiff. The Kevlar stays supple. Now, I'm not going to wear a glove on my hammer hand, right? So I'm right-handed. I'll be holding my tongs with my left hand, and I'll be hammering with my right hand. If you hammer with a glove on, you're going to end up getting a blister. So I'm going to pull my metal out, and I'm going to be working at the tip of the metal. I'm going to be doing what's called half-face blows. Half the hammer face is on the metal, and half is off. I'm focusing the energy right at the tip to make a sharp point. My hammer, keeping the material flat on the anvil face. You can see I'm bending 90 degrees. I'm going back and forth 90 degrees. You see that point is coming out. However, we have a little of that bend is happening, so I want to flatten that. I'm going to take this high side. I can look down it like I'm looking down the barrel of a rifle, and I can see my curves. So I'm going to flatten this out up here. The high side up. 1 hammer blow. 2. High side up. And then there's another curve down here. Not too worried about that. Once you getting a nice sharp point there, going to go back in for another heat. Notice these tongs. These are made for 1/4 inch materials. They hold on nice and tight. I think it, wolf jaw. I can't remember the name of this type of jaw, but you can hold it from the front, or you can hold it on the side. This guy, it only holds coming out the front. So the forge is pretty getting hot, so it's going to heat it up a lot faster. I'm probably going to finish up that point. I'll make sure my piece is straight, and then I'll start drawing it out. Okay. Nice heat right where I want it. Right at the tip where I'm working. Okay, nice sharp point. I'm going to straighten my piece. Okay, my next heat, I'm going to pull my hammer back about 2 inches, and I'm going to hammer from the back to the front, turn it, back to the front, turn it, back to the front. I'm going to try to lengthen this piece by, maybe an inch or 2. I've been told that a nice way to think about forging is think if you had a plastic bag filled with goo that you could push around. That's kind of what we're doing with the metal. We're pushing it around. Of course, it's not a plastic bag, but we heat up that metal and it's ready to move. It's in a plastic state. Of course, this forge is burning natural gas, and we used to think of natural gas as burning really clean, but now we know that it actually is creating a significant amount of indoor air pollution. So I turned the fan on. We have a fan that is sucking the air out of the ceiling. So we're safe. Okay, I'm going to draw out. I'm pulling that. I'm going to start my hammer blows about 2 inches from the tip, and then move toward the tip. Okay, I think next procedure, I'm going to roll that tip, and I'm going to make a little curl at the top. I'm making a little hook here to hang my cougar hat. I'm just going to draw it out one more time, make sure that I don't have any wrinkles, my piece is straight. Then I'll bring it over to the vise, and we're going to put a little twist on it. Yeah, when that forge gets going, pretty nice to be working here in February. But on one of those warm streaks in October, it could be pretty rough. The other thing is it's putting out a lot of UV ray. So when I'm looking in the forge, I'm looking through this number 6 shield glass. All right, I think I'm going to put that curl on, and then we're going to twist it. So next operation, we're going to pull that little piece of metal out of the forge. I'm going to have it going point up. We'll tighten it into the vise. I'll grab it with my bender, and I'm going to twist a spiral into the metal. Nice and straight. All right, next thing I'm going to do, we're going to look at a new way to cut metal. I'm going to use the hammer and the cutoff tool. All right, let's cut this piece of metal. All right, we got a small piece. When I put it in the forge, it's going to fall to the bottom. So I'm going to get a pair of tongs with longer reins so I don't scorch my hand when I pick it up. All right, I'm going to go to that side that we just cut off. And I'm going to clean it up, make sure everything is straight. I might hammer it flat to make a flat round piece if I have enough heat. But if not, I'll just make sure it's straight, nice and clean. Put it back in, hammer it flat. Then we'll take it over. We're going to drill a hole in it. And the last thing we're going to do is make it, use a bender to make it half round. All right, we're gonna hammer that flat. Let's take it over to the bench top. We'll drill a hole. So I got my piece here, and I got, put my little twist at the end, or my little nub to hang my hat. I got a twist in here, and then I flatten this side. I'm going to drill a hole. One thing I noticed is that this little nub and my base are not aligned, so I'm going to have to get it hot and give it a little more of a twist. But let's drill this hole. When we're going to drill holes, we want to make sure that we want to punch a pilot, a spot where the drill bit can catch in. Otherwise, the drill bit kind of skates around the surface of the material. So I'm going to take this center punch, just give it a nice tap. You see I made a little divot there, and now when I put the drill bit in, it will sink right into that divot and not wander around. All right, so I'm going to set up my drill. This is a keyless chuck, so I can hold this closest to the drill and twist this clockwise to close, counterclockwise to open. So I'm going to start with a small hole and then make it a little bit bigger. Whenever we're using a drill, a power tool, a grinder, we're always going to clamp it down. I don't want to see anybody holding a piece of metal and trying to drill a hole in it or grind on it. So grab it, clamp my vise down. Okay, so forward, reverse, make sure we're going in the right direction, right? Just like a gas pedal, the harder you pull the trigger, the faster it goes. Safety-wise, I don't have to worry about my hair getting caught, but this is a rotating tool, so any sort of strings, or if you had, I don't know, if you had a hoodie string, or if you have long hair, definitely get it back. That rotating, it'll grab and won't let go. Okay, so I have my pilot hole, or my set, and I'm ready to drill. Got my hole, and I'm gonna hang it on a screw that big, so I need to make my hole a little bit bigger. But I started with a small pilot hole, and now I'm going to push it out to 3/16. Up. Okay. That'll fit my screw. Almost there. I'm going to align my hook with my hole, and then we're going to bend it on a form. Back to the forge. All right, I'm going to pull that piece out, slip the side that I drilled the hole in here, and then bend it around this half-round bender, and then I'm going to hang my hat on the wall. got a place to hang my hat.